Hey guys, welcome back to Tekneikos. Today we will be solving the longest consecutive sequence problem, okay, which falls under arrays and hash tables. Okay, if you are new here, this is a part of our series playlist which you can check out on my YouTube channel. Our goal is very simple: to help people secure great placements, whether it's through on-campus recruitment or off-campus opportunities. From a placement perspective, this is a very important problem. Let's dive in and understand it in a much better way. The thing is, these problems are bit easier, but this helps you to create logical thinking. So let's start. We have been given an unsorted array of integers num. Return the length of the longest consecutive elements sequence. You must write an algorithm that runs in order of n times. Okay, so we have been given a nums as an array and 104, 200, 132, and the output is 4. Okay, the longest consecutive element sequence is 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, therefore its length is 4. Okay, I got it. Let's just deep dive into the whiteboard. So I have written an example. Okay, this is the input 5, 8, 3, 2, 1 and 4. This is an example and the output is 5. How the output is 5? Let me explain you this. 1, then the consecutive other one is 2, then 3, we got 3 from 1 to 3. Then there is 4, we got 4, and then 5. Okay, after this 5 there is no element like 6 or 7. We don't have these elements in this input. Okay, we have 8, so the consecutive one will be 5 for 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Hope you understood this. This is very simple. Before telling you the approach, I want you to think of any approach that comes in your mind and try to take a dry run in your mind that how will you get the output as 5. Okay, so this helps you to build a problem solving mind. Okay, so this is the function which has been given, longest consecutive, and we have given nums as an array. Okay, sorry, vector as an vector. So approach, what approach that comes in my mind? First of all, you can see here the array is not in either ascending order nor in descending order. Okay, it's randomized, so we will sort it. We need to sort the array so that it will be easier for us to determine whether how many number of consecutive elements present in this array. Okay, once we sort it, our 90% task will be completed. Okay, after that we need few more stuff. Iterating the array gives us a command which doesn't matter whether you are using for loop or while loop. While iterating, we just need to take care of only one thing. Suppose this is the 0th index, this is the first index. The element is 1 and the element is 2. We just need to compare whether there is a difference of 1 or not. If the first element is the second element is greater than the previous element, that means we are getting the longest consecutive, and then we will increase the count to 1. Again similarly we will increase to 2 if we get a 3, comparing 2 with 3. Okay, so this is the simplest approach that comes in my mind. Let's just code it and take a dry run. Okay, first we will write a sort function which will sort the array. Okay, once this is done, we will make few variables like last smaller and initialize with int minimum, and we will make a count to count and return the number of longest consecutive, and we need a longest which is initialized with 1. Okay, these three variables will help us to write the code. Now, as I mentioned, we will run a for loop int from 0 to size, and this is crucial. In the for loop we will compare the I minus 1 with last smaller. If it is the case, we will increment count plus equals to 1, and last smaller will be that number. So we are done with if statement. Then we will write else if last smaller is not equals to nums of I. That means we will reset the count to 1 because the current number does not continue the sequence and is not a duplicate. Okay, and then last smaller will be that number. Okay, I hope this is clear. Then at the end we will return the okay, before this I think we need to get the longest equals to maximum of longest and count. Okay, we then return longest. Okay, let's just take a dry run to understand the code in a much better way. We have this as our number array list, and then at this step we are sorting that array. So after this line is being executed, we will get 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Okay, we have count, we have longest, and we have this last smaller. Okay, so when we start iterating from this one, we start iterating we entered this if statement. If I is lesser than 1, which is 0, it will become 0, and double equals to last smaller, so we will increment count by 1, and we will increment it by 1, and the last smaller will become 1. Okay, when we get to the first index, which is 2, again nums of I, which is 2 minus 1, is 2 minus 1 equals to 1. Okay, is it equal to the last smaller? What is the last smaller? Well, the last smaller is 1, so it's equal to last smaller. So we will increment here, we will increment the count to 2, and we will make that last smaller to 2. We will change this to 2. Okay, again we entered this 3. Again for loop started. We this if statement, 3 minus 1, which is 2. 3 minus 1, which is 2, which is it equal to the last smaller? Yes, it is equal to the last smaller. We will increment it with 1. We got another 3. The count become 3, and last smaller become 3. Okay, this is the case. Again we got a 4. So 4 minus 1 will become 3. So sorry for this message. The count will increment to 4 and eventually 5 once we encountered the end element. Okay, so this is how it will iterate, and we will return the longest. Although we are not encountering the else if part, but suppose after this 5 we have 7. Okay, suppose we have 7 after this 5. So what will happen is, we will not enter this if statement, because nums of I minus 1, 7 minus 1 will be 6, and the last smaller is not 6, it was 5. So it will not enter in this loop, rather it will enter the else if part, and once it entered it, last smaller is not equals to nums of I. Okay, this case, actually sorry, this will not happen. Last smaller is not equals to nums of I, which is we have 6 as last, we have 5 as last smaller, and which is not equals to 7. So this else if statement will execute, and count will be reset to 1, and that element, that 7, will be used as a last smaller. Okay, so this is how it will work. And what about the time complexity and space complexity of this code? Okay, this is the very important here. For sorting, the time complexity is order of n log n, and we are iterating the complete array. So again plus there is a order of n for iterating, order of n. And for space complexity, we are not using extra space, so it will be order of 1. Okay, so this is not the best time and space complexity. We can write much better approach for this problem. Now we will start that. Now we will write optimal solution for this problem statement. Okay, this is important. To solve this, the problem was in the previous we are using sorting method this sort function, which takes extra n log n time complexity. So what we can do is we can use the help of hash set or unordered set. Okay, so you may ask, if you are not familiar with unordered set, so in a short definition, it is a C++ data structure that stores unique elements. Okay, the point is it stores unique elements. Okay, all the elements are non-repetitive and unique in unordered manner, and the best thing is it provides order of 1 average time complexity for all its operations like insertion, deletion and lookup. Okay, so we will use these properties to solve this particular problem. So this is the input and output. Just to remind you, the approach is uses hash set to find longest consecutive sequence. Okay, first we store all elements. Okay, store all elements in a set to allow quick lookups. Okay, after this, for each number we check if it is the start of a sequence. Okay, check if it is the start of the sequence. What does this mean? Okay, suppose we have a number, we decrement with 1 is not in the set. Okay, any number -1 and that number is not in the set, we can say if it is, we count how long the sequence continued. Okay, we will, if this is the case, we will count how long the sequence continued by checking num +1, num +2 and so on. Okay, while counting, what we will do, we will keep track of the longest sequence found. Okay, of longest sequence found. Since the number is proceeded only once, this method runs on nearly order of n. Okay, we will look into it. Let me just write the code and then I will explain. So this is the function which has been given. I will write each line and explain you each and every line so that you can implement unordered set in any question without any fear. Okay, just be with me. We need to get the size of that nums. So how will we get it? Using n equals to nums dot size function. Okay, after that, if that n is equals to 0, which means it's empty, we will return 0. Okay, whenever you are in interview, try to mention this is an edge case. Okay, whatever you mention is very crucial. After this, we will define a longest variable equals to 1, and this is important. Again, this is how we define the unordered set. Unordered set int what kind of data structure you want, that type of that data structure, and st for set. Okay, after that, the again another important thing is we need to insert something so that we can iterate or do any kind of operation. Okay, so we will use a for loop for that. Int I equals to 0, I less than nums dot size, I plus plus, and we will st dot insert function is being utilized or used to insert the elements. Okay, nums of I. This is done. After that, okay, remember one thing, it requires order of 1 time complexity to insert in a unordered set. Now we will iterate through the set to find the start of the sequences. Okay, for auto it to iterate st in the set. Okay, and if st dot find is function is being used to find, okay, it minus 1 is double equals to st dot end. If it minus 1 is not in the set, it means it is the starting point of a sequence. Okay, so continue, we will continue here. We will make a count variable 1, we will make a x equals to it, and we will use a while loop. What I will be doing here, if x plus 1 exists in the set, it means the sequence continues. Okay, how we will do that? St dot find x plus 1, okay, not equals to st dot end. If the sequence exists, keep incrementing x and count until we reach the end of the sequence. Okay, so we will do that. This is x equals to x plus 1. We will increment it, and count equals to count plus 1. Now we got it. The last thing, we need to update the longest sequence that we have just found. Longest equals to max of longest and count. Actually it's cnt. Okay, and after all the for loop, just return that longest. So we are done with the code. Okay, the video is actually too long, it's already 25 minutes, so I just created complete dry run. Okay, you can refer this image to understand how actually the dry run, how you can take a dry run, and I would suggest you to try and take a dry run by looking at this image and understand. Let's just go to lead code and write the code and check if it's working or not. Let me just zoom it so that I don't know how good the video quality will be after recording. So this is the dry run. Okay, the time complexity will be 3n and space will be order of n because we are using extra space. and this is the only case if the set data structure that you have chosen is taking order of n, order of 1 for insertion, deletion and all the lookup operations. So this is the code, that the optimal code that I just mentioned, and it's written in C++. Let's just run. It's working, all the test cases. Thank you for watching, guys. I will be publishing more array related videos, and soon we will move on to different topics as well. I will make sure you get the best guidance to succeed in your interviews and any other preparations you are working on. Stay tuned and keep learning.